Hello, friends. I'm back from the American Library Association Midwinter Conference in Seattle, and if you haven't seen my news, I will share it with you. The ALA Midwinter is where many awards are announced for children's literature, and some of them you may know, like the Caldecott and Newbery, and congratulations to all the winners. And I wanted to tell you that I am the winner of the 2019 Sidney Taylor Award for Children's Literature for Teens. So this is from the Association of Jewish Libraries, and I am beyond thrilled to receive this award.
The 2019 winner for teen readers is What the Night Sings. By Vesper, illustrated by the author, published by Alfred Egg Knopf, and imprint of Random House Children's Books. This beautifully illustrated novel tells the story of teen Holocaust survivor Gerta, as she struggles to reconcile her identity and desires in the wake of a tragedy.
So, back in 1984, when I was just a little slip of a thing, I used to do modeling as a kid, and don't get excited, it was nothing fancy. I wasn't on any commercials or in movies or anything like that. It was like knitting and crocheting magazines mainly. But one very special job that I had was in an illustrator studio. So there was a photo shoot, and the illustrator was going to then take that photograph and illustrate it. And it was the first time I had ever been in an illustrator's studio. Maybe the first time I had ever been in an artist's studio, I'm not sure. But I still remember the light. I still remember his drawing table, and he had a rack of costumes for this photo shoot. And it was just so exciting. I think it was in Brooklyn. It was in front of a brownstone. And the most exciting thing to me was that I got to wear a pinafore. What little girl does not want to wear a pinafore? And it's because I was on the cover of this book, All of a Kind Family by Sidney Taylor. And I just won the Sidney Taylor Book Award. So it's funny how life sometimes comes full circle. I'll show you that again. So I didn't show you which one is me. I know I've shared this story before, but just it has new resonance. So that's me. Little me, little Vesper. But yeah, that's why this award has just such special resonance for me, because not only do I love Sidney Taylor and All of a Kind Family and all of that, but I was on the cover of the darn book. So how funny is that? So now I was on the cover of her book, and now she's on the cover of mine. It's just so fantastic. I love how life works like that. So I'm going to share with you also the speech that I gave at the Morris Award ceremony, because I was named a finalist for the William C. Morris Award, which is a debut YA award. So again, I'm just thrilled. I'm so honored, thankful to the American Library Association and YALSA and the Association for Jewish Libraries. And I'm still riding high. Can't even believe it. What a special moment. So thank you to all of you who have read What the Night Sings. Please go ahead and leave reviews on Amazon and Goodreads. And it was so great to connect with many of you at ALA. And without further ado, here's my speech from the Morris. Thanks.
The William C. Morris Award honors a book written for young adults by a first-time, previously unpublished author. The award's namesake is William C. Morris, an influential innovator in the publishing world and an advocate for marketing books for children and young adults. William, called Bill by his friends and colleagues, left an impressive mark on the field of children's and young adult literature. He was beloved in the publishing field and the library profession for his generosity and marvelous enthusiasm for promoting literature for children and teens. The William C. Morris Award Committee selected 5 finalists in December. They are Blood, Water, Paint, written by Joey McClough Published by Dutton Books for Young Readers, an imprint of Young Readers, a division of Penguin Random House. Check Please, written and illustrated by Ngozi Ukazu, published by First Second, an imprint of Macmillan Children's Publishing Group. Children of Blood and Bone, written by Tomi Ademaye, published by Henry Holt Books, an imprint of Macmillan Children's Publishing. Darius the Great is Not Okay, written by Adib Khurram, published by Dial Books, an imprint of Penguin Young Readers, a division of Penguin Random House. And What the Night Sings, written and illustrated by Vesper Stamper, published by Knopf Books for Young Readers, an imprint of Random House Children's Books, a division of Penguin Random House.
Well, I just want to thank the Morris Committee and YALSA and my whole team at Knopf, but especially my publisher, Melanie Nolan, my editor, Karen Greenberg, my art directors, Allison Impey and Stephanie Moss, and my agent, Lori Kilkelly, for believing in this strangely formatted book and putting so much love into it, and this is definitely as much your book as it is mine. I started What the Night Sings as a grad school project for my master's in illustration at School of Visual Arts, and I thought I would just write a short story to accompany a body of illustrations to explore questions about my own Jewish upbringing, as well as the often untold story of what Holocaust survivors faced in the immediate days and months after liberation. But that short story quickly got out of control and became the book that you now know. Goethe and Lev represent two authentically Jewish experiences, one entirely secular, one deeply religious, with nothing in common but their trauma. This isn't exactly a couple who would have swiped right for each other. You swipe right, maybe. I don't know these things. Yet they decide to bridge that distance a day at a time as they and the other survivors in Bergen Belsen build a future from scratch. Anyone who's immersed themselves in Holocaust studies knows that it's not only emotionally and even physically wrenching, but it demands certain questions of you that you must answer for yourself. Because you quickly discover that far from the comfortable distance of judgment, I would never have participated. I could never be like those people, those Nazis. The only way the Nazis could have accomplished the annihilation of almost half of Europe's Jewish population was through the average person, the neighbor. People like me or like you, good people, students and teachers, scientists and police officers, doctors and garbage collectors and musicians. History is only the story of human choices, one choice at a time. One choice of fear, one choice of convenience, one choice of self-preservation, until I'm the one standing there with a gun. Just a few weeks after I began work on What the Night Sings, terrorists attacked illustrators at the satirical magazine Charlie Hebdo and Jews at the Ibercache kosher supermarket in Paris. And the veil began to be pulled back on the explosive growth of global anti-Semitism, something we continue to see iterations of across the political and cultural spectrum. Just 4 months later, The Atlantic's cover headline read, "Is it time for the Jews to leave Europe?" What I discovered is that anti-Semitism, which is the hatred of and prejudice against Jews, is a cyclical and predictable phenomenon with a major resurgence about every 70 to 100 years. And it seems to herald or accompany the decline of a society. And 74 years later, despite Never Again and Never Forget, we are just in time for the resurgence that we now see. So I find myself in the sobering position of talking to other people's children about how ugly the world can be, and I'm trying to help them have some tools to fight that. So many of these precious young people that are hearing this message don't engage with those people, whoever those people are. It's okay to engage in the 2 minutes hate as long as the right face is on the screen. But that can't be right. I've always believed that people can change, and that the best way to allow for that is to make a place at the table. My work on What the Night Sings meant facing my own estrangement from the Jewish community, something that was very painful to me. And time again, I was told, there's a place for you at the table still. So I'm looking for these pull-up-the-chair voices to help me navigate this cultural moment of outrage and bitterness, because I'm looking to steel myself against the possibility that I could make a chain of choices that would lead me to be a perpetrator against my neighbors. I'm looking again to role models like Dr. King,
and Abraham Heschel, and to new heroes like Daryl Davis and Derek Black. Daryl Davis is a Black jazz musician who's responsible for pulling over 200 people out of the Ku Klux Klan through intentional dialogue and loving engagement. Derek Black was heir to a family legacy of white supremacy until a brave Jewish classmate at college invited him to Shabbat dinner. Pull up a chair, heroes. These are examples of what Dr. King called nonviolent direct action, which happens in marches, yes, but most importantly happens around the dinner table as enemies learn to break bread together. There is a revolutionary force that has broken the back of dictatorships, segregation, and abusive colonial power, and that force is love. Far from being passive, I'm reconnecting to that message of love myself because love is what led Holocaust survivors to make the staggeringly brave choice to marry and have babies after losing everyone they loved, taking that risk of loss again. Love is what kept the door open for Jews to worship the God with whom they were furious. And love is defiantly centered on serving others at the expense of self. Love led the righteous among the Gentiles to hide Jews at the expense of their own safety. Love engages the individual human being and does not settle for cheap group stereotypes. It's what Gandhi called satyagraha, the force of truthful love. Love demands all from us, even our own feelings of rightness. It demands that we remind ourselves of the absolutely radical choice to love our neighbor so that you and I can even perhaps love our enemy. Thanks.
There you have it. That was the speech I gave at the Morris Awards, and here is the actual award itself. And I'm super thankful. See you soon, guys. Bye.